Justin Wolfers is a professor of economics and public policy at the University of Michigan, joins us live now. Justin, so good. It's been a while, my friend. So good to see you. Just in terms of this latest jobs report, 64,000 jobs added, an unemployment rate ticking up to 4.6%. I mean, obviously, there's a sign here, a clear sign that the labor market is cooling. But, you know, the numbers are a little bit skewed. I mean, there's so much that is missing because of the government shutdown. This jobs report in and of itself was pretty late. Just give us your take on these numbers, Justin.
So there's two issues here. One is it's a bit of a tricky jobs report. It got caught up in the whole government shutdown and all of that. But I don't want you to miss the more important thing. This is actually a really, really big deal. What we got today was confirmation just how badly the economy is slowed. And I think it's going to, over the next few weeks, lead people to fundamentally change how optimistic, in fact, become more pessimistic about where the economy is and where it's going. Let's run through a few numbers. The unemployment rate, it was 4% back in January. It's now up to 4.6%. So that's hundreds of thousands of people without work. The rate at which we've been creating jobs since April, by the way, was Liberation Day, has slowed virtually to a halt. By the official numbers, we've been creating 17,000 jobs a month, very, very few. But if you talk to the folks at the Fed, they believe these numbers overstate the true strength. And in fact, employment may have been declining overall over the last several months. We've seen a big hit to government jobs, but it's not just government jobs. Private sector job growth has slowed virtually to a halt as well. It is time to start asking whether we're in a recession. I'm not going to chime in on that debate, but I am going to give it a name. I'm going to call it an economic slump.
So in terms of the reasons why, I mean, how much of this is to do with federal workers being laid off versus tariffs, for example, versus Trump's crackdown on legal and illegal immigration, and also baby boomers essentially aging out of the workforce?
Your question is part of the answer, which is there's so many things going on and not many of them are good. And that doesn't bode well for hiring. So let's go through a few of those. So one, what we saw, if you remember back 6 months ago, Elon Musk sent hundreds of thousands of public sector workers an email that says, we've come to a fork in the road. You can resign and get booted. You can go on a gradual resignation path. Well, those resignations hit in October. That was 150,000 government jobs lost. But that's just October's number. If you want to focus on other months instead, we still see slower job growth. If you want to focus on the private sector instead, we still see slower job growth. Immigration's a really big issue because it changes how many jobs we have to create in order to keep just the unemployment rate stable. Well, there's less immigration, so we don't need to create as many jobs, but no one knows exactly how many. That's why I focus instead on the unemployment rate. It sort of tells you if the folks who are here, how many are struggling to find work. And it's that number that's gone up really quite a worrying amount over recent months.
And in terms of what the Fed actually does with this particular report, I mean, obviously, you know, it is an important data point. They might want the December jobs report. That might be that might give them more clarity in terms of the bigger picture. They obviously have to focus on two different things: the state of the U.S. economy, how healthy the jobs market is, but also inflation. What do they do with these numbers, Justin?
I think you saw a hint that actually the Fed's ahead of the curve of this in the last press conference. Fed Chair Jay Powell looked very, very worried. He was talking at length about deterioration in the labour market. He's worried that we've been losing jobs for months. And what we saw in today's report is that Powell's intuitions, or his very clever and deep parsing of the data, looks like it was correct. And we're going to continue to see numbers like that over the next few months. Look, we are at a point where it's totally legitimate for people to ask and to wonder, are we in a recession? That's a moment where the Fed wants to move from being in neutral to maybe tapping its foot on the accelerator a bit, seeing if we can get the economy going. The Fed did cut rates in December, but it said that it understood itself as taking its foot off the brake and putting the car into neutral. If these numbers hold, and it looks like, you know, really things have slowed down, there's going to be an increasingly strong case for the Fed to cut rates further to actually try and speed things along.
And in terms of your crystal ball, looking into what we can expect for 2026, I mean, we saw 3 rate cuts in 2025. All things being equal, what are we going to expect next year? More rate cuts, deeper rate cuts? Your thoughts, Justin?
Let me pivot your question a little bit. I'm happy to answer it, Zane, but rate cuts and bond markets and stuff, that's a lot of interest to the financial sector. But for the folks at home, what really matters is, are they able to find work? Are their jobs stable? Are they able to get pay rises? And what we see is that the labour market has slowed quite substantially, that the next batch of kids who graduate are going to find it a lot harder to find work, that the folks who are in jobs that they don't really like right now are finding it harder to switch. And the folks who are looking for a pay rise in order to catch up with inflation are finding it harder to get those pay rises. These numbers really are quite pessimistic about where we are, the lack of progress, and in fact, the steps back we've made over the last few months. Zane, if I'm sounding more worried to you than I've sounded in months, it's because I am.
You're always worried though, Justin. Never super optimistic. I
like
think I've ever had you on my show
Zane.
being super optimistic. But your worry this time certainly has cause. When you look at these job numbers, they are troubling, especially when you consider that the unemployment rate is the highest it's been in about 4 years or so. So your worry this time is certainly not without cause. Justin Wolfers, live for us. Thank you. Thank you so much.